Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Squared Circle. Season 2, we're all nice and well rested and well refreshed. Season 2 is kicking off here. It's June 10th, 2013. And welcome once again to the Squared Circle. I am Hollywood J. Williams, and if anybody that doesn't remember this man sitting next to me, it's Mr. John Zimmerman.
Welcome back. Glad to be here.
How was your vacation?
Oh, it was very nice, very nice. I saw some shows, which we'll get to, and PWA started up the youth program, which we'll cover, and we got some indies, and we got a special guest tonight, and it's going to be a great season. Looking forward to, rolling back into things. Rolling back into things. We're gonna, we'll keep doing what we do best, and that's talk about the major organizations and take them up on their shortcomings and tell you all about the independent scene and what you can look forward to seeing there. Yeah, there's a lot of new stuff out there. There's an entire new federation that we were just talking about before we went on the air, and we're looking forward to some new blood, fresh competition, and it's always a good thing. It shows that independent wrestling is definitely on the rise, and people are seeking it out and getting out there. So, we're touching on more corners of the state, so to speak. The new federations, their show is in South Windsor. So, it's good to have more, the more the merrier. And we're going to have some cross-pollination because I believe Latimer Joseph of CTWE is going to be at the South Windsor show. So, you know what? It's just good to have another outlet. Oh, yeah. So, definitely. Well, you got your friends over at PWA and their new training school for their youth organization, I should say. Oh yeah. I'm there twice a week. My son is their star pupil at the moment, if I may say so myself. And they're working him hard. I mean, he's coming out of there losing about 5 pounds of sweat every time. So it's they're very kind and gentle with him, but they're also very firm. Yeah. And they're there to do a job, and if you're there to be serious, then that's what you're going to get out of it. Yeah, that's how you learn. That's how you learn. But they're not going to actually have a card for a while, I understand? Yeah, Joseph von Schmidt and a few of his guys have been on FTW, Fight the World. Joseph von Schmidt just won the title over there. And they're doing some other independent promotions in the area. And they're trying to get, I don't want to reveal too much, but they're trying to get a TV deal. So when they come back in September, they'll be on some form of television. That's really, really good. Yeah, I wish them all the luck with that, and hopefully that'll take off. And again, if one organization is successful, it just opens the door for the rest of them. And it should be friendly competition, and there shouldn't be adversaries, because one hand washes the other, and we can all help. Definitely. And just spreading the word about it. People will show up for the for the entertainment. Definitely. And our sister show, Center Ring. Yep. Every time I go down there, every time I call in, I hardly ever hear the words WWE or TNA ever mentioned. Right. And it's because the Five Man, he loves his independent shows. He loves going to them. He loves promoting them. And we actually have his main co-host, I should say, here with us. Right. So I want to bring her out right now, Aubrey St. John. Welcome. Hey guys. Welcome. Thanks for having me. Welcome here to the Squared Circle. Aubrey, I want to welcome you to North Haven, welcome you to NHTV, and how are you doing tonight? I'm good. I'm here to talk about some indies. Keep it like we do in Center Ring. Yeah, and I'm not even starting with my main WWE news, so I mean, we'll just go right to you, and we can talk independents. You're there more than I am. I know that much. Exactly. I cover a lot of the indie scene, but as you guys mentioned, PWA is going to take a hiatus for the reasons he said. We also have a new federation, Real Warrior Entertainment, RWE. Yes.
They're gonna have an event June 28th at South Windsor, and we also have the Fan Fest, which is next, I believe it's next weekend, the 21st and 22nd in Fairhaven, Massachusetts, which I'm going to be working with Southern, as well as the Mystery Girls. And there's going to be a lot of old legends and new workers in the industry.
Yeah, on that card, on that appearance, there's going to be like almost 100 different names. I mean, the list is too endless to even talk about.
Yeah,
but I mean, friend of our show, Mario Mancino, is going to have a booth there. Mario Mancini, and he also promised after the Fan Fest he was going to come back to us. So hopefully, in some upcoming episode, we'll have Mario back to get some more stories.
We have to have Mario Mancini Part 2. We'll probably have to have Mario Mancini
Part 10.
Yeah, I know.
But,
we'll have to dedicate an entire month to it, I think.
Oh yeah, that would be awesome. Well, that would be awesome. But the show in South Windsor, I believe the largest name on that card right now is Tommy Dreamer.
Yeah, they said they don't want to reveal too much information because they wanna keep a suspense. But they're gonna have Tommy Dreamer, I believe Too Fast to Furies, which is Rob Fury and Steve Scott from Jersey, and they're gonna have Bobby Ocean from CCWE.
Yeah.
Which I believe he's a trainer for them also.
Yes.
And the rest is under wraps. They're not really trying to reveal much names.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, it promises to be an interesting new wrinkle in Connecticut indie scene.
Yeah, it's becoming a hotbed for independent wrestling. I know, this whole area.
And for fans of our show, I did put a link on our Facebook page. So, I mean, you can follow that and find out some more of the details. But it is June 28th, and more than likely we'll have more information between now and our next episode, and we'll get you a little more of the card and so forth.
Yeah. So, do you have any favorite independent promotions?
Oh.
Really, or not one in particular stands out with you?
Well, I when I came back from Florida, because I was in Florida, living in Florida, I started watching, going to CCWE events, and they were the event that I attended the most. But there's also NEW and PWA is actually up and coming, and I prefer PWA events more because they're more family friendly. I mean, they're all family friendly, but they're more, they're more respectful. As I've attended a lot of shows. I've interviewed many workers, and I would say that PWA, I think it's because of Bon Schmidt. He teaches them not only to wrestle but to have respect for others, and that's what I like about that. They're moving on, and I also see them at FTW, which is in New York, which was this past weekend. Also, they had an event over there.
You ever? I've seen you've gotten involved before in the actual cards.
Yeah.
So what do you do? Are you a valet of some kind? Or?
Well, I've back a couple years ago. I've done ring announcing, and I've managed a couple people that you might have heard of, like Samoa Joe, the Motor City Machine Guns, and Scotty Too Hottie. I ring announced for the match between Daphne and ODB. And most recently, I ballet for ETW, which was in Connecticut.
Yeah.
But other than that, I'm always on Center Ring every Thursday.
So what's it like? Working on there? The Center Ring?
It's definitely fun. It's a fun environment. I like the people that I work with now, which is Fogman and Bruce and Nikki and sometimes Daisy. So it's very relaxed, very fun, and it depends on what worker we have. Because some workers are very disrespectful, but it depends. Even out of character, they're very disrespectful.
Yeah.
But for the most part, it's fun. It's fun. It's good.
No, I always have a great time.
Yeah.
One time you weren't there, and I stopped by to say hello, and Fogman's like, "Nobody's here. You have to fill in." Like,
Yeah, sometimes, you know, because I do a lot of stuff. I'm a entertainer, so I sometimes have other stuff to attend to, you know, so.
Right.
But, I want to comment. I do appreciate you saying that Joseph von Schmidt and all of his crew, he does teach them how to treat each other as gentlemen, and you know how to treat the crowd, and they're imparting that knowledge onto my son. You know that you're there to entertain, and you're not there to be make a jackass out of yourself or out of somebody else.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, I'm not only am I a fan, but I'm also in the business. So if you give me a bad attitude, I'm not gonna want to work with you next time. And you know, and that builds up your rep, not mine, because you were the one who gave me the attitude.
Oh, absolutely.
But a lot of these guys, they think, oh, you know, I'm big boss. No, you're not. You're an indie worker. Like, know your role. You know, not trying to be disrespectful, but you know, I don't like when they're very disrespectful towards me or any of my friends. And you know, just do what you come to do. You know, work in the ring, and you know, be nice to everyone. So
yeah, oh, absolutely.
I mean, when you're a character, it's completely different. I mean, when you're a character, you can say whatever you want because you're a character. But when the camera stops rolling, when the ring is being put away, you know, there's no need for the bad attitudes and stuff.
You know, and that's just a lesson in life itself, not just in the wrestling industry or what we do. You know, it's just a good thing to be in life. You know, and like you said, if you're in character, you know, and you're a larger than life persona, of course.
Yeah.
You know, you're going to be, you know, The Rock, and you know, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But you know, when the camera's off, The Rock is, you know,
The Rock doesn't exist. It's just Dwayne.
It's just Dwayne, and he's a nice guy, and you know, he shakes your hand, and you know, and he moves on. So I think you're absolutely right. You really need to respect people in everyday life, you know, because we all have value and we all have you know, feelings, and you know, if you're nice to people all around, you know, you're going to get that back. Negativity doesn't draw anything but more negativity.
So absolutely.
Exactly. You know.
Yeah,
we're all in this business for the love of it, you know. We're not making WWE or TNA money. Well, WWE money, you know. So
maybe somebody that you work with might make the money one day, but not.
Yeah, but you know, like these indie workers, you know. But yeah, PW is definitely. I've been watching them lately, and they have some promising people. So I would love for them to bring Nicoletta from FTW over to PWA here in Connecticut. I would love to see her here, but. Other than that, they're good.
Nicoletta, who's this Nicoletta?
Nicoletta is actually the manager of Rockstar, the Rockstar.
Yep.
He was the champion before.
Yes.
Mark Smith, yeah. So.
Yeah, Joseph von Schmidt. You know, you mentioned that he just won. I believe it's his 17th title. He won the FTW title, the Fight the World title, and there's a photo on our Facebook page of Joseph von Schmidt with yet another title. I mean, this guy's title reign, he's got more.
He's looking at the German Ultimo Dragon. Remember the Ultimo Dragon?
Absolutely, yeah. He's got more metal than a scrapyard, for goodness sake. But yeah, congratulations to him, and you know, and like you said, he's a positive guy, and he's a hard worker, and good things come to him. You know, and he carries that reputation not only in Connecticut but all over the world. I mean, if you go to PWA, the gym in New Haven, you can see the posters of Joseph von Schmidt from all over the world. He's not just a Connecticut guy, even though you know you may not be able to see him on a weekly. Show like WWE or TNA.
No.
Right? He's been all over the world, and he's well respected. His reputation definitely precedes him. So, you know, yeah, Mexico is part of the world, yes.
Mexico, yeah. Maybe,
last I checked.
Yeah, maybe future generations of the Von Schmidt family will be champions on other planets.
Oh, possibly. Yeah, we're not long for this one anymore.
Who knows? I had to throw that in there.
Yep.
So, other than indies, do you watch much of the WWE or TNA?
Sometimes I do. It depends. Like I said, I have a busy schedule. You know, sometimes I have to rehearse for my other shows and stuff like that. So I really can't. Or if I'm on location or something, photo shoot or something. But I try. I try. I haven't watched it like in the past couple of weeks though.
Yeah.
But I know that the Wyatt family is coming soon, which is Husky Harris.
Husky Harris, yeah.
Yeah, and then the other guy. I can't remember his name right now, but they're back. They're coming soon, and Curtis Axel.
Curtis Axel.
What do you think about that?
Will they really remember the name Curtis Axel, or are they going to forget the name Curtis?
Well, first of all, right, he was Kurt Axel until Paul Heyman screwed it up and called him Curtis. Mm-hmm. And if you notice, when originally the graphic said Kurt Axel, and for whatever reason, Heyman kept saying Curtis. And much to the production crew's credit, they did change the graphic. The next time they put it up.
Of course, it kind of rhymes with Kurt Angle too, so maybe it's just as well.
Yeah. But you know, I like to see. I mean, I've said it over and over and over to bring the young talent up, to bring up the next generation, because we've seen the guys that have been in the business for so long. We've seen every combination of who's fighting who, and we've seen them turn from heel to face to heel to face, and and it's stale.
Yeah.
And I think bringing a guy up, hopefully, they groom him well, and Triple H is obviously giving him a huge push at the moment.
Huge push.
Putting him, fighting against.
He's literally in the main event now.
Yeah.
And he wasn't even there before.
Right. And he was nobody. And you mentioned Husky Harris, and that's Mike Rotunda's son. IRS.
Now this gimmick kind of looks like the movie Wrong Turn a little bit.
Yeah.
And this is the son of the guy that used to be Michael Wall Street, or Erwin R. Shyster. IRS, yeah.
So again, it's another young guy that they're trying to push, and hopefully they'll do a slow burn. They seen Curtis Axel came in, he's put right into the main event. Hopefully they dial it down just a little bit and let him go through some of the undercard at least, and hopefully not squash matches, but make it look.
Well, the Wyatt family, if it's IRS's son, there's 2 of them, right, or 3 of them?
I think there's at least 2. Yeah.
Bo Dallas, but he's not with the Wyatt family.
No. But I mean, like I said, at least they're bringing up some of the younger talent, because 2, 3, 5 years from now, Cena's going to run his course.
Right.
The Rock is done.
The Rock is only going to be doing so many more WrestleManias.
Right.
And then,
Undertaker is going to fade in. If he makes next year's WrestleMania, I'll be surprised. He'll be 50. And he's going to be 50 years old. So and I'm not putting them down, but these guys have run their course. And their shelf life is quickly coming to an end. And now is the time to start grooming the new talent, the next generation of superstars, because, like I said, The Rock is done. You're not going to see him in the ring anymore after his last injury. Brock Lesnar's really coming to.
You don't think The Rock's coming back ever again?
No, not
after the abdominal.
Right, not as a performer. No, because you know what, that pushed 5 of his movie projects back. And that's huge budget, and he's not going to be a bankable star if they can't depend on you to be there. So, and I don't think he's going to make the choice of being a permanent WWE guy. He makes too much, and it's too lucrative to be in the movie business for him to risk another injury and sending back all those productions, because to put a film together, it's not only the availability of The Rock, it's his co-stars, and it's all of the cast and crew, hundreds. You look at the credits of a movie, it's like 1,000 people.
Oh yeah.
And for his one injury, he set back 5 movies.
He's not scheduled to be back from Hungary until like the fall at some point.
So you're not going to see him risk injury again and risk his his real career at the moment. So, they really need to groom the next, set of superstars.
And one of them might be this Curtis Axel.
I think so.
He's got the pedigree, he's got the creed behind him, he's got the Hennig family.
Right, and of course, Vince and the WWF at the time were very much behind the Mr. Perfect character.
Oh yeah,
and with good reason. I mean, he was a great worker. He had those great vignettes, and they'd show him working out and being perfect at everything, the perfect football throw.
Oh yeah,
all the
golf, swing,
the perfect golf swing. Yeah, he was Mr. Perfect at everything, and it was a great gimmick, and he really filled that role, and he was a good worker in the ring. You know, and you know, from all accounts, if you read the trades and stuff, he always had a good reputation with the guys in the locker room. So I think, you know, if Curtis Axel has any portion of what his father had, you know, it can be groomed.
He looks bigger than his father.
Yeah,
and he might even be a bigger. I don't remember his father ever having a major belt. Just as he only went as far as an intercontinental.
Right,
US.
right. Yeah, but he was a guy that, you know, didn't really need the belt to get over. He was over.
No, he was over anyway.
Right.
We have a call here before, so I might as well just take it before we keep going here.
Here we are.
You are live on the Squared Circle.
Yes, good evening, gentlemen. How are you?
Oh,
Great.
Good to see you back live here for Monday, June 10th. So, congratulations on season number 2.
Thank you very much.
I actually had a couple of questions, a couple of comments. I actually wrote down some notes so I wouldn't forget it. But I wanted to lead with a sad note as far as the Squared Circle goes. And of course, your sister sport of boxing, New Haven's own Chad Dawson was flattened Saturday night on HBO. He lost his light heavyweight title.
Oh.
He was knocked out in the first round by somebody named Adonis Stevenson, who caught Chad Dawson with a pretty good left hook in round number 1. And Chad Dawson is now the ex-light heavyweight champion. So another star of the Squared Circle has been squashed temporarily here.
Yep.
I also saw a story that I wanted to talk to you with when you came up, and wondering if it would affect independent wrestling at all. I know the mixed martial arts is allowed at Mohegan Sun and Foxwoods, but I heard a story last week that it passed the state legislature.
Yeah.
So now, in theory, if it works, they could have mixed martial arts contests at the Excel Center and other state venues.
Yeah, you got ahead of me on that. I was about to mention
Oh, you were? Oh,
yeah,
okay.
because you know I'm really a big fan of the UFC and the mixed martial arts scene.
Now, will that hurt talent that normally might go to the Von Schmidt School or the other independent wrestling school? Now that that there's more mixed martial arts allowed in the state, will that kind of filter away some of the talent away from the independent wrestling?
You know, I think there's very little crossover in the performers. Mm-hmm. I think it's going to hurt business more so than the talent.
Okay.
And I'll explain that in a little bit.
Yeah, to me, I think you either want to become a professional wrestler or you want to become an MMA fighter.
Yeah, I think there's enough separation between the two. I don't even want to call them two sports, but the two disciplines, I should say. That
actually, now that I think about it, MMA will probably hurt boxing more than it does independent wrestling.
No, I think it's going to hurt independent wrestling and boxing. Boxing is going to quickly become the sport of the past.
And as a die-hard fight fan, I'm afraid you're right. You know, there's only so many Mayweathers and Pacquiaos out there, and all the good heavyweight fighters are over in Eastern Europe with Klitschko's and what have you.
Yeah, and right now the big money is in the UFC.
Yeah.
Unless you are of that Mayweather Pacquiao echelon. Right, the third or fourth fight on the card is making.
There was a time years ago, and this is back in the '70s. There used to be professional boxing in Waterbury once a month at the Waterbury Armory.
Yep.
A ton of local talent.
Yeah.
They were all like Rocky Balboa. It's just club fighters.
Yep.
Call them, but they used to get pretty good crowds, and it was a nice evening's entertainment. John, I wanted to ask you, just on a personal note, I don't know if you want to elaborate on the air, but I saw your post on Facebook. We're Facebook friends, and everything is okay with the family?
Yes. My wife is here, and she's on the mend. We're waiting for some test results, and hopefully everything is A-okay.
Okay, good.
But we were
throughout that extra prayer your way.
Thank you, and I appreciate that for all the fans of my page.
Eddie, you going to be coming down to the Brantford Road Race this year?
Hey, actually, that was my next question, Hollywood Jay. Are you running? Are you running this year?
I'm I'm most likely going to be running.
Okay.
There's a small chance it's not going to happen, but most likely I will be there this year.
Okay. Have you been training?
I've been training. I did about I'd say close to 12 miles in an hour and a half on Saturday.
Really? All right.
Yeah.
Ready.
Yeah.
You'll knock them dead. So.
Yeah, he was chasing the ice cream truck, but.
All right. Well, good luck. Good to have you back. And of course, I'm watching you from my clear, crisp UBREY signal in Wallingford,
Yep.
where every Thursday night I'm turned to the Wallingford local station to see Fogman and Aubrey St. John on your sister show, the Center Ring. So
Yeah.
Absolutely.
well, thanks.
Aubrey's right here with us tonight, and
I saw her before, and I call Mike, or I call Fogman occasionally on Thursdays, but anyway, I'm glad you're back, and enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you, Ed.
thank you
All
very
right,
much.
guys, have a
Ed.
good night.
Thank you.
All right, Ed brought up an excellent point, which I was going to get to, that Connecticut legislature did pass a bill that allows for MMA in events in the state of Connecticut, leaving New York as the only state that's held out against, that still has a ban on MMA. So my speculation is that being that the largest arena in Connecticut that borders New York would be the arena at Harbor Yard in Bridgeport. And I'm guessing that Dana White will definitely target that venue to bring in some of that New York audience and to show New York what they're missing out on. And, it's not going to be much longer, and I've said on this show before.
What is Vince McMahon going to think of all this, though? I mean, that's something I don't know for a fact, but when the Mohegan Sun Arena started having the MMA events, that Vince McMahon didn't like that very much and has not had a card there since. I don't know.
I kind of put that together like you did as well, and
on Friday.
I think. I think you're right. I think Vince is really going to be afraid of the MMA,
right?
And UFC in particular have their events on a Saturday night, and Vince has his pay-per-views on a Sunday night. So given the choice, especially if they coincide, right?
Especially if you have to be at work on Monday morning,
right? And getting that Saturday night money, you're not going to have the money left over on Sunday to order the pay-per-view. So I think that's how it's going to hurt. And the independent wrestling in Connecticut mostly is on Saturday nights. They've done some Friday night shows, but most of them are. Correct me if I'm wrong. They're on Saturday night.
Most of them are Saturdays, but we have BTW, which is Sunday, which is doing their Sunday events in Danbury.
Yeah.
And I want to say PWA is doing Fridays.
Yeah.
So, for those that do Saturdays, like CCWE, ECW, and the EWR,
yes.
I mean, they're going to,
Yeah, I think it's going to hurt in the pocketbook. And Ed brought up, is there going to be people not boxing anymore? I think the people that are interested in combat sports, which would be boxing or MMA, are going to find that the money is going to be more lucrative in MMA because it's such a hot product right now.
Yeah.
And it remains to be seen how long it's going to stay that hot. But if you look at the amount of boxing that has gone down, and the money is right now in the MMA. So I think the people that might have gone into the boxing as fighters are going to cross-train and get some jiu-jitsu, and some ground and pound and do the MMA.
Yeah. I just hope Vince doesn't. If they put something on at XL Center or they put something on in Bridgeport, he's like, well, I'm not going to have wrestling in the state of Connecticut anymore, because then
he's going to put himself out of business.
Then he's going to end up putting himself out of business if he takes that attitude. I mean, he's going to have to really amp it up and step it up and try to make a better product.
Well, I know that he's done exclusive contracts with a lot of the arenas across the United States that prevents TNA from being there.
Oh yeah.
So that's why TNA is playing a lot of smaller venues or out of the way venues. Not necessarily in the larger towns. You know, they like in Connecticut, TNA plays Oakdale,
yeah.
which is severely small in comparison to the XL Center.
Oh,
you know, as
absolutely.
far as capacity. And across the United States, TNA has gone to different arenas that don't normally hold WWE events.
They just had their Slammiversary pay-per-view at Boston, but it wasn't at the Bank North Garden.
Right. It was at Boston University. They've also done the Sangha Center in Lowell, Mass, which is also a college arena. So they're finding places that aren't.
They could consider. Doesn't Quinnipiac University have an arena?
Yeah. They could.
They have it Southern.
Yeah, they can do one at the Quick and Fairfield. So I think it's a good venue for TNA because they, at this point, I don't think they can sell out, especially Madison Square Garden. But I really,
University, right here on Route 10, they have the ice rink.
Yes,
that's what I was thinking.
So
for them.
yeah, I mean they can obviously put a ring in there and get a good crowd. So, but getting back to my point was that Vince has kind of locked them out of the XL Center and Bridgeport and Harbor Yard. But the UFC is going to offer so much cash and so much revenue to these venues that they're going to say, you know what, Vince, hey, if you want to come here, great, but we're going to have, you know.
Especially because you have the train stops right outside the Harbor Yard and the ferry.
That's an excellent point, yes. Long Island, the Long Island Ferry and the train stop. You can walk from that Bridgeport train station to the Harbor Yard.
Yeah.
You know, and I wouldn't doubt that they could even just put a shuttle bus in between the two. You know, for the event. So I foresee probably around by this time next year, because UFC books their venues quite far in advance. So you know, we're not going to see the ripple effect of this until around this time next year. But by summer of next year, you're going to see a UFC event, and my prediction is the arena at Harbor Yard in Bridgeport, because just to draw in that New York crowd.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But it's perfect.
The day that Dana White gets the UFC into Madison Square Garden, I think Vince Sr. is going to roll in his grave.
Oh yeah. So what do you think? What'd you think? We took a little trip to Hartford last week.
Yes, we did.
We were in attendance for Monday Night Raw.
Yeah. You invited me up to your suite, which was very.
Yeah, me and my family there.
Yeah, very nice. You shared a few pops
my
with us.
sister and my
nice spread you put out. Nice buffet. Really nice.
Exactly.
The XL Center.
Were you impressed at all by the Raw last week, or not really? Or I thought, for some reason, I thought it was one of the better ones I've seen in a while. That's just me, though.
What did not impress me was that they announced, and they even sent me a text to my phone, that Triple H was going to be in action, and he didn't even make an appearance. So I thought that was a little bit of a bait and switch.
Yes.
You know, even though I had purchased the tickets already. But, you know, on the previous week's Raw, they announced that he was going to fight. They sent out a text earlier that day, hey, come see Triple H fight.
And he was never there.
He wasn't even there. We just saw him on the screen.
Which was probably taped way earlier.
Oh, without a doubt. But, I mean, other than that, yeah, we had a great time. It was a good show overall. You know, I mean, I'm not sure what Daniel O'Brien's feeling right now, because he got put through the table by Ryback. And I think they need to dial Ryback down a little bit, because he's hurting too many other guys. It just goes back to, in my memory, Ultimate Warrior squashing all these guys and hurting them. You know, you know, and not only are you hurting them, you're hurting their earning potential, but you're hurting the product overall.
Kofi Kingston is gone for 8 weeks now.
Yeah.
December 27th.
Yeah, he hits hard.
Yeah.
He's like the Leon White. Vader broke that guy's that rookie's back, and he couldn't wrestle ever again.
Right.
In just a squash match.
Yeah. You know, so I mean, they really need to. You know, I know Ryback is over, but they need to dial him down a little bit and really get him some more training, so he's not hurting these guys. You know, because in the long run, nobody's going to want to work with him.
No.
And you're going to have too many guys.
If nobody wants to work with him, then he's not really going to be marketable anymore, because who's he going to wrestle?
Yeah,
you know?
and if he's putting all these guys on the disabled list, you know, who's going to be left to fight him? You know, it's a shame that that's happening.
Exactly. But I thought it was. I'd give it a B. I wouldn't say it's the best Raw, but I'd give it maybe a B minus, close to C, but. You know.
I'm probably in the B-C area myself.
Yeah.
But I mean, we had a good time. WWE always puts on a good show.
Yeah.
And we enjoyed
I
ourselves.
was very impressed with the crowd. But tonight they're going to be in Richmond. This is the final episode leading up to Payback. So they're going to talk more about the John Cena versus Ryback.
Yep.
3 stages of hell.
Yeah.
Whatever. Now it's a table, cage, I don't know what, kitchen fight, I don't know.
Lumberjack table.
Lumberjack match, a tables match, and then an ambulance match.
In the ambulance, got to bring the ambulance out, of course. He always rides out in the ambulance. I'm thinking some poor guy's having a heart attack and could really use this ambulance right now, but here comes Ryback.
Well, I think it's a stunt.
It'll be on hand when Vince goes out of business because of UFC.
Yeah.
So they'll talk more about that. They'll hype that up. They'll hype up Chris Jericho versus CM Punk. The best in the world versus the best in the world.
At what he does.
At what he does.
Right.
December 27th.
But it means he's the best part-time wrestler in the world and best part-time musician in the world.
Yeah, I guess.
I guess that's what that means. Then.
I told you before. I saw Chris Jericho perform with Fozzy, and the energy and the charisma that he has in the ring, he definitely translates to the stage. And having heard the CD, I went to see him live, and his voice live was just as good as the CD. So I mean, Fozzy started out as just a goof. Something for him to do, in his off time. He's parlayed that into a second career. And you know what? I really enjoyed it. I thought he put on a great show. He sang very well. The band was really good. And, I mean, the CDs are good.
Definitely.
It's good music. If you're, I guess it's classified as metal, but it's not quite as hard as some of it out there. It's not thrash or anything like that. It's hard rock, and it's enjoyable. It's good stuff. And his partner, Rich Ward, definitely knows how to write some riffs and play some tunes.
Definitely. Also, they're going to talk about Triple H and his desire to face Curtis Axel again, but they're going along with they're doing a McMahon family drama issue where that was the whole thing last week where he wasn't there, he wasn't going to face Curtis Axel because basically he had the final say. Yes, dear, I'll go home.
Right.
What is now? All I saw was Stephanie saying, "No, you can't. I'm making an executive decision. I'm going to tell my husband what to do because I'm his wife."
Yeah, I thought that was a little awkward because we haven't seen Stephanie McMahon in the ring or on TV in quite some time, and then she just walks out and makes an executive decision. What is her role in the company? They didn't specify that. If he's the CEO.
I think Vince moved into Linda's position, and she might have moved into.
Yeah, but
I don't know.
I mean, it's just an assumption on our part. They didn't really. It was awkward, and from what the backstage gossip has been that they were rewriting it as it was happening because they were up against, I believe, the basketball. Pacers Heat Game 7, and right now they're up against hockey finals. They're up against basketball and their ratings have been in the toilet. The ratings have been horrible.
And I guess this is something that usually happens after WrestleMania. They get into this funk and they have to bring the ratings up for SummerSlam.
Yeah.
This happens every year. I don't know.
Right.
Maybe it's just a dead season for wrestling. It's
all
still
the
around.
writers. Yeah, all the writers are like on the edge of their seat because they're about to be fired.
Yeah, they're gonna do a cleanup.
Yeah, if you don't perform, if you don't write, we'll have to start writing. That's all.
Because you know what, the ratings. I mean, goodness me, they're getting down to like TNA ratings.
But they all he had was something rolled up. Vince McMahon had something rolled up, and he gave it to Triple H.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, Triple H got into his car and left. What is this? I think it was just basically a rolled up piece of paper.
Yeah, but we might find out a little more tonight.
They don't know themselves.
on
This is not going to go away anytime soon. They're going to have these big arguments pretty much all summer.
Yeah, are we going to have the Triple H versus Mr. McMahon feud?
Yes.
Again.
All over again, and how soon before Shawn Michaels comes back, and I hope we're not going down that road.
Shawn Michaels is going to come back
my
and
goodness.
tell him he should stay. He should just listen to Stephanie or whatever. Or Curtis Axel's going to beat up Shawn Michaels, and that's going to further infuriate Triple H.
Right, and we have the boss's daughter fighting, And
then Triple H is going to go home one night and find Stephanie in bed with Curtis Axel.
Oh, I don't know about that. But, where is this scenario happening? Because is Vince watching TNA? Because you got Bully Ray, who's married to Brooke.
Yeah.
And, she's got to choose between her father, Hulk Hogan, and her husband. Right. Well, wait a minute. Isn't this what's going on now in WWE? Yeah. What's old is new again, and we're all copying one another. It's like, come on. Now you're going to have Triple H, and Stephanie and Mr. McMahon. So now the daughter is married to one of the talent, and her father's the boss.
And,
that's exactly what's. Why have two shows if you're both doing the same exact thing? It's so silly.
So that's the McMahon family drama. I think eventually you're going to see they're going to do a daytime show for wrestling and put it up against General Hospital.
Oh, they might as well. That's when it's coming to. And it just goes to show that the budget in WWE compared to the budget in TNA. Right, TNA, Hulk Hogan's only got a little hammer, right, and WWE's got a sledgehammer. So they've got just a little bit more of a budget. Just being funny, but
Total Diva starts next month.
It's silly. Excuse me?
Total Diva starts next month.
Total Divas, all right. The Total Divas show. Have you heard about the Total Divas show?
No, what's?
The WWE Divas. It's a reality program, and almost like a Big Brother. They live in a house together. All the divas live in the house together. And from the most recent tweet by John Cena, he stayed in the house for a week with them. They filmed while he was there. We're going to see that in July. So
it's a soap opera, and now it's a reality show.
A reality show. All the divas. Well, you know what? They got to give them something to do, because they certainly don't let them fight in the ring.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think we're going to watch a lot more fights on this show than at the actual Monday Night Raw and SmackDown. Because
you're absolutely right.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to see more cat fights than that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, you do see
They'll have more time for fighting. Because you only bring the divas out for, 5 minutes maybe?
Yeah. Just enough time to run to the bathroom and get another beer.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because they got so many good talents when it comes to the divas, like Natalya, Tamina, when they had Beth Phoenix, and they had all these other girls, and they just let them slowly die down. And why are you gonna not use these girls that are really trained wrestlers and put this Barbie girl, this Barbie Blank, which was Kelly Kelly, to fight? She was a model. She was not really a trained professional wrestler.
Right.
I mean, she did get trained later on, but she didn't come in as a trained athlete.
Right, she was basically the new Stacy Keibler.
The new, the eye candy,
Yeah. You're absolutely right. They really need to get either get a women's division or don't have one at all. And I really, really think it's embarrassing that Natalya is just walks Great Khali out to the ring.
She dances with him.
Great.
Yeah.
She just dances with him. Really, you're having a member of the Heart Foundation, one of the girls that came out from the Heart Dungeon.
The dungeon, yeah.
Dancing.
That's why they call it a dungeon. It was a dungeon.
Right, and you know what? 2 weeks ago, they're having Bret Hart Appreciation Night in Calgary. Natalya actually gets the fight, and she loses.
Yeah.
She loses in her hometown on her birthday.
And on her birthday.
Nice.
Now, if this is Vince sticking it to Bret Hart, I don't know what it is. I mean,
because deep down inside, there's probably resentment there still.
I mean,
and then neither one of them want to admit it.
It just shows that I mean, as
they probably it's almost like they still don't like each other.
Yeah,
they're just dealing with each other.
Juvenile on Vince's part. And it just goes to show that he's still, even though he's a grown man, he's still a 14-year-old boy.
Yeah.
And his poop jokes always on the air.
What I think Vince does is because he's so determined to have TNA not come up. I think what he does is he hires all these people that are promising stars, but he just doesn't give them anything. He just hires them and basically just to hold them, so that TNA doesn't get that step up.
It's a game of keep away.
Yeah, you know,
right.
because he has all these great talent. They're not doing nothing. Most of them don't even get TV time, but you still see them on the roster on the website.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although TV time for the up and comers, NXT is coming back on the air. They're dropping the Wednesday night main event, and they're bringing up.
They're bringing the
NXT.
NXT back on again.
Yes, and they created 3 titles: a women's title, a heavyweight title, and do they have the tag teams? So NXT is going to be a brand of its own.
I don't understand why they have the girls' titles, because when was the last time that a woman's belt was defended on pay-per-view?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, they keep putting it off. It was on the last 3 pay-per-views. They were, and then they cut it. And Caitlyn has to be frustrated as all get out, because she's got the title, and it might as well be garbage.
Yeah. They want to give it to AJ Lee, I think.
Yeah, that's more than likely what's going to happen. But then who's AJ going to fight? It's just
They don't have enough. They don't have enough women.
And they bring.
But that's the problem. They do have a lot of women. They have a lot of girls. They just don't bring them on TV. They don't do anything with them. It's like, I guess they're all filming that show, but.
The Funkadactyls, yeah.
They're good.
Right. And they get to come out and just shake their heinies with, Brodus Clay in the ring.
Yeah.
The Funkadactyls, and at least Naomi has been trained as a wrestler. You've seen her in the ring a couple of times, but,
NXT.
overall, yeah, she was a winner
Yeah.
of the last NXT, wasn't she?
Season 3.
Season 3, yeah. So, she's got the training, and, she's got some moves, but, they let her just dance in the ring.
They got to develop them over at this performance center. I would love to go see that place next time I'm in Florida.
Definitely.
Yeah, this is they have the job listing posted for a general manager. This is what it says. This is what it says about the performance center. This is a quote.
Yeah.
The new performance center will give WWE the ability to train more potential performers than ever before through a comprehensive program, including in-ring training, physical preparedness, and character development. That is their own, using the big words.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's a great thing to say. Now let's see if they can pull it off.
And this is the job of description of the Performance Center General Manager. Quote, supervise the development and manage the day-to-day process of WWE's talent review system, which will be implemented in late 2013. The overall review process will entail working with senior leaders from Stanford and the WWE Performance Center on the execution of this biannual program focused on accelerating the development of our Orlando-based superstars.
Okay.
Huh?
You know who fits that bill? 100% of what you just said? The most hated man from Vince McMahon? Jim Ross. Give Jim Ross the job and you will have talent. He knows what he's been doing for the last 40 years.
Yeah.
Right? Whatever bad blood or vinegar between Vince McMahon and Jim Ross, you know what? Vince, swallow your pride.
Jim Ross has to have something to do.
Do what's good
he
for
knows
business.
the talent. Yeah.
Right. And if you give Jim Ross that job and you allow him to hire somebody that he can groom to be his replacement in the next 5 years, right? I believe that is the ultimate success for that company right there. Jim Ross, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, and there's also like a lot of people from a lot of legends that will make good candidates. I've heard
Dusty
some
Rhodes.
names. I've heard some names, but I don't want to, say anything because sometimes I get like the scoop before it comes out, so I don't want to. But I've heard a couple names that I thought were interesting candidates.
Well, I know that in NXT they had Ricky the Dragon Steamboat down there, and unfortunately he's not able to do too much in the ring because of his health.
Right.
We had that health scare last year and a half
Right.
ago.
Yeah.
But just ring psychology, alone.
With Steve
You know,
or Flair. If they could get Flair involved in it, even though his head might not totally be
Right.
in the game right now.
Yeah,
The family tragedy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Flair is too much for himself. I've never seen or heard of him being the greatest of teachers because he enjoys the spotlight too much for himself. But,
I'm sure he's one to give good advice, though, if you wanted it.
Yeah. Like you said, if he was in the correct mindset. But
Yeah.
see what happens.
Definitely see what happens. Because right now, what they say with NXT, the current situation with it is, if they can promote you onto the main roster, they will, and if not, you just go bye-bye.
Yeah.
And this is going to change that, I guess, you know. And with a TV deal, like you said, you know, you don't necessarily have to be on Raw or SmackDown now.
Right.
You can be just in NXT, and you know, it's kind of like a spin-off series.
Well,
that you watch Cheers, and then Wings came along.
Right. You know, I hope they keep it as a separate brand, and I hope they don't rush things. You know, let these guys develop. You know, because we don't have the territories that we had in the early days.
No.
And you know, the independent scene is as close as we got.
But even with the separated brands, we still see Raw superstars on SmackDown, and we don't see the whole SmackDown
Right.
locker
Roster.
room.
Right.
So it's
Yeah.
like, what's the point of having separate?
Right. That's why I'm saying
They
you
don't
know,
really do that anymore. That's the thing.
Yeah. There's
they
so
say
much.
They do.
Right. Yeah.
And then we see the whole SmackDown, like half of SmackDown is like a Raw rewind. If you miss Raw,
Yes.
then you could
Right.
watch SmackDown.
SmackDown is Raw Part 2.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah. And SmackDown is really,
Unfortunately.
Raw Part 2, and whatever, we couldn't fit into Raw, we're going to throw on the SmackDown.
Which I don't understand why they do that, because they have the Saturday morning Raw rewind.
Yes.
I don't know if you guys ever watched that.
Yeah,
but,
yeah, the two.
So,
Yeah.
you know, it's
But
how it is.
I
Yeah.
tend to be sleeping late on Saturday morning.
I,
Out there styling and profiling on Friday night.
yeah, well, I'm usually working Friday night, so by the time I get home on Saturday, I'm out. But yeah, I hope they keep NXT. Unto itself, and when the guys are ready to make that next leap, don't bring them up and then toss them back. Bring them up too soon.
Yeah.
and,
Like Will Dallas.
yeah,
They brought him up, he won, and then where is he now?
Gone.
right. Who was that guy? Mason Ryan. Another.
And Mason Ryan
Yeah.
came in for Mason Ryan was going to be managed by that Washington guy that they got rid of.
Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's another guy that should have been a monster, and
Replacement.
he was like Batista, the young Batista, and just squandered him.
Yeah.
And you're right. I think they've signed a whole lot of talent that they're playing keep away. So if we sign them, TNA can't use them, and you're absolutely right.
Yeah,
with
just
that.
like when they get let go, they got certain days where they can't be seen on TV, which is like TNA.
Right.
Like if you get, it's not like back in the day when if you got fired today from WWF, tomorrow you were on WCW. It's not,
Right.
it's not like that anymore. Now you gotta wait a couple of months. I think it's 90 days, so
Yeah.
you die down and then you seen on TNA. Like they think that that's really gonna hold people back, but it's really not.
No, you're right. Yeah, because they're allowed to do independent shows. They're allowed to do signings and keep their profile and their name out there. Especially now with social media.
Of course, with
it's not like
Twitter.
they disappear.
Yeah, with Twitter and YouTube and Facebook, all these stuff, Instagram and stuff. They stay up.
Yeah, their name stays out there, so it's not like you're killing their gimmick or you're killing their name. They're still in the public light as much as they want to be. So yeah, I agree, but I think it prevents what Medusa did from going from one to the other.
Oh yeah.
Right.
And then taking the belt and
And
throwing
taking
it
the
in
belt and
the-
throwing it
in the garbage.
in the trash.
And the look, or like a Lex Luger walking out unexpected. He's on SummerSlam, and then the next night he's on Nitro.
Right, and of course Scott Hall and
yeah.
Kevin Nash doing the same thing.
Yeah. But speaking of competition, with 5 minutes left,
Oh my goodness, that was quick.
briefly mention TNA, and then, All right, well, we'll start with aces and eights. We'll start with the North Haven aces and eights, and if they come around here anytime soon, I've been in touch with some people I actually went to school with.
Ah.
And, you know.
You're going to give them some schooling.
Give them some schooling, some
Nice.
North Haven legends, an army of icons, if you will.
Yep.
I might be so confident we can get rid of these people, whoever they are, to make me late to my show all the time. and I come out and my tires are slashed, so I can't even get up to Chicopee to NAFW, you know. I'm so confident. I know some girls that could even take them out.
Oh.
How's that sound, guys?
Wow.
So if you're watching, don't bother me. But that being said, Kurt Angle is the second Hall of Fame inductee for TNA. And he
Yes.
wants a WWE Hall of Fame induction as well.
Yes, he does. He definitely deserves a spot in the WWE Hall of Fame. He'll have to pretty much divorce himself from TNA and be away from TNA for at least 6 months to a year before
Vince would even consider
getting back,
that.
To
Yeah.
the WWE.
That means he would probably actually have to come back to the WWE altogether.
Right.
Would he want to do that? Would he want to leave TNA and come back? Would Vince McMahon want him back? There's,
I think even if he was to retire for whatever reason, he can always come back for that new job posting, because he's good.
Yeah. You mentioned Kurt Angle. He's going to start a program with Rampage Jackson. Now, with Rampage
Jackson, yeah. And
the former UFC fighter just signed with Bellator. Bellator is also on Spike.
who might not actually be being trained by OVW. He might just train out in California somewhere.
Correct. Yeah.
From what he's a
Rampage
big dude.
Jackson. Yeah, I think it's a better signing than King Mo was. King Mo was kind of a disappointment, but I think Rampage Jackson, if they don't rush it, they let him get some training in the ring. I think it'll be a good cross promotion and not only boost TNA's ratings, but boost Bellator.
Oh yeah.
And that's one of the few signings. Bellator doesn't want to be, we're going to sign the former UFC guys. They want to kind of grow their own. But I think Rampage Jackson is a good name for them, at least to get eyes on their product. So I think it'll bring a little bit more attention to TNA, and it'll definitely bring a lot of attention to the Bellator show.
Yeah, it's also making a lot of talk because of the TNA Gut Check Challenge.
Yes.
But all these good indie guys, and it's bringing more exposure because not a lot of people watch TNA. But if you really love an indie guy, then you're gonna want to vote for him because you want your favorite guy to be seen on TV.
Yeah.
And become a top star.
Heart Attack Tommy Mack is a prime example, right?
We got to wrap things up, guys.
I know,
don't believe
that was very quick. That was very
Aubrey, I want to thank you for coming down.
Thank you guys for having me.
It was great. We'd love to have you again.
We'll have to bring John over so he can have the centering experience.
Yeah,
one of these days.
anytime. We're
I gotta get
live
there.
every Thursday at 7:30.
Well, thank you very much, and we'll see you again, hopefully pretty soon in Wallingford. And this is John, and I'm Hollywood J. Williams, and good night and good luck. And remember what I said, aces and eights. Here comes trouble. See you next week.